Today on Fog Entertainment, we're going to see which ones survive and which ones will it be game over for as we rank every single twist from the Saw movie franchise for the first Saw right up to the 10th one, which was obviously Saw 10. You've got a few other ones in there, Jigsaw and Spiral, which I believe are actually on this list. 10 might not be on this list, but there's only really one twist in Saw 10, and I'll fact that in right at the very end. But this is a very neat actual tier list. We've got 6 categories, ranging from iconic to straight up retarded. I quite like that. I added that in. The previous model was pretty boring. It was simply just S down to F tier. I mean, that can work, but I feel like for plot twists, big movie twists, you need to do it right, and I feel like this is doing it right, because I feel like there is one turn that was damn right iconic, and we'll get into it because it's going to do it in chronological order. And to be honest, folks, I think that's the best way of doing this, because if you're going for the 5th movie to the 4th movie, over to the 10th, back to the 1st, then back to the 10th, back to the 4th, then 5th, 6th, 7th, be a bit of a mess. So we're going to start with the first Saw movie, and that will. There only is 2 twists that they've put here, and that's probably about right. My knowledge of the Saw movies is pretty good, pretty great, to be honest. I mean, obviously with the 8th instalment, the 9th instalment, the 10th instalment, it's not the best, but yeah, at least on these wee rankings, it actually tells you the exact twist. It's not just an image, which helps. So the first twist is Sepp Hindle isn't Jigsaw. Now, when you factor in a twist, I think you've got to look at, right, is it a good twist? Is it a bad twist? Did you see it coming? Was it an actual surprise? What were the the effects of it? Now, as for the Sepp Hindle guy, all evidence points towards this guy being Jigsaw. I mean, that's pretty much undeniable in the first movie. He is the one that kidnaps Dr. Gordon's family. The distorted voice over the tape recorders very easily could be him. We see him in the hospital. He rocks up in the bathroom with a gun, and then when Adam kills him, you're thinking, well, fuck, he's killed the guy behind this. But then the tape recorder on set confirms that he was just another contestant, if you want to say that. I think this is actually a pretty great plot twist, because here, I still think the movie still would have been good. Like, make no mistake about it, but I think it took this movie from good to, like, iconic status with that. And that brings us on to our next ranking. The dead body was alive, and also Jigsaw. So obviously this twist pretty much happens at the exact same time as Sepp Hindle, because when Adam is playing his tape recorder, he finds out that Sepp Hindle is just another member of the game, but as it's playing, John Kramer, aka Jigsaw, steps up, and for me, this is iconic. I'll be honest, folks, it's probably the only iconic twist on this list, because that rhymed, didn't it? Why? Because I think it is one of those movie twists that will stand the test of time. You know, Saw came out 22 years ago, and honestly, if you were compiling like the best movie twists of all time, I think this is here. Not just horror movies, I think of all time. People will always remember that image of Adam listening to the tape recorder, and then you see like the pixelated body of John Kramer begin to rise, and it focuses. I think it's brilliant. I think it's phenomenal. Honestly, you will struggle to find a better twist. I've watched a lot of movies, and yeah, I mean, there's twists that can be done a wee bit better, whether or not like someone's imagination or the timing or whatever, which will be actually quite used frequently throughout this. But anyway, that's Saw 1 wrapped up. Pretty good start for the Saw 1 movie. When you're dealing with iconic and great, don't you think many two people can complain about that wee man, right? Up next was Saw 2, which has got three different twists. So the first one, the gas house, was pre-recorded. I think that's a pretty good twist. I wouldn't say it's great, you know, because what you got to bear in mind here is I never thought. I remember watching Saw 2 for the first time. You never really thought that this movie and this scene, it was just portrayed like it was happening at the same time. And when the police rock up and like they find the tape recorder, like shit, it's not live. And then obviously that's what really brings an end to Detective Matthews. He gets injected and left in the bathroom. So, you know, I'm kind of deciding here between great and good. I guess it is like the biggest twist of Saw 2. Although that one's. I'll go great. I think it's just below set, but yeah. Right, up next we've got Amanda was Jigsaw's accomplice. Right. I actually think this is one of the more obvious ones. I really do. It's because she begins, obviously, in Saw 1, Amanda. Then in Saw 2, we see her get put back in the game. And of course, with that, what happens is you're thinking, well, why is she back in the game? You've even got people in the game accusing her, and she knows where certain stuff is. And the more it goes on, like, she does seem to want to keep this Daniel kid alive. Like, no matter what way you spin it, you can see it. I think it's a good twist because, like, it's an already known character being the accomplice, but it's not as shocking as the three so far. Right, up next, all Eric had to do was wait. So yeah, of course, the game was pre-recorded, which we've already ranked. We put that into great. But if he waited the couple of hours, his son was in the safe in the same room with John. But obviously, he drags John to the location, and then that's where he gets attacked by Amanda. So that leaves him locked up. So again, all I had to do was wait. Good twist, and the fact that Eric Matthews was in there the whole time, and I love that line for John Kramer. Oh, he's in a safe place, like that. I mean, I think these two come hand in hand, but we'll do that. Right, moving on. Next up, we have got Lynn was Jeff's wife. I mean, it's not bad, right? But if you think of it, I mean, this really is like the only twist of Saw 3. And this movie alone, obviously, we'll get to the twist that does involve it at the end of the day. But for me, it's not really. I think it's a bit meh, to be honest. When you when you factor in the previous two movies, like this is your big twist. This jobber that no one really cares about is Jeff's wife. I just don't really think that's cutting the mustard at this stage of the game, my friends. And I think Saw 3. Some people really like Saw 3, and I'm not saying like the twists are the end all and be all of movies, right? But I think for the Saw movies, they kind of were, and it's a bit meh. Up next, all Rig had to do was wait. For me, this is just quite similar. Well, I mean, it literally is quite similar to Eric, but I think the Eric one's quite similar because you're banking. Jigsaw's banking on Eric attacking him and like forcing him to take him to the location, right? When all he had to do was wait in the room. With Rig, I get it. It's the same kind of principle because this guy, all he wants to do is protect people and be a good cop. And that's essentially why he gets killed, which is fucking crazy when you think of it. And Matthews shoots him, try and stop him coming from in the room. And again, John doesn't kill him. But then it makes, or whatever, like even Hoffman doesn't kill him, just leaves him to die. But what would have happened though if Matthews missed the shot on Rig and then like Rig comes in and Matthews dies? Would Hoffman have killed him? What actually would have happened there? That would have been Rig failing his game, but there was no device on Lieutenant Rig to kill him, so I'm a little bit concerned. Actually, I'm actually going to fucking type that into Reddit right now. Yeah, so how do we look there on Reddit, people discussing it? People would have said that Rig would have just freed Hoffman and Rig would have believed Hoffman, and I guess he probably would have. But at the same time, it does really like leave a bit of a plot hole there. I mean, I think it's a pretty good twist. I would say it was good, but it's just copying Eric into it. I'd probably put it top of good. But again, factoring in this twist, Saw 3 and 4 take place at the same time, so what Hoffman has to do in this movie is basically capture Strom and put him in the water trap. But what would have happened then if Rig would have freed him? Would he have been able to stop him? It's a little bit of a miss there. But Saw 3 and 4 taking place at the same time. So obviously Agent Strom shoots Jeff and then gets put in the water trap, but he manages to survive, which Hoffman sees at the beginning of 5. But in terms of this, I think this is actually, it's pretty good, but it's not great. Hoffman was Jigsaw's accomplice. I don't think anybody really seen this coming. I think it's a lot more surprising than Amanda's. and I think it is one of the last like great twists. So I will put it up there. Up next, we've got all five could have survived from Saw 5. Rita Morgan, of course, in this trap. Oh yeah. But the whole point is with this trap is you've got five people basically all in there for greed and exploitation, and that the gimmick is, well, they're not going to be able to trust each other. You know, they're all greedy, very selfish, very narrow-minded, and therefore they're never going to figure out that you can all survive these traps, and they all kind of pit against each other. Whether it's the first trap with the razor blades attached and you get swung back and get decapitated, all they had to do was help each other there. One key would have opened all the locks, but again, you don't know that. I mean, obviously at this point, like John Kramer, Saw, whatever, it's in the news. You know what I mean? People would have known at this stage of the game, like, oh fuck, you know, and they know that maybe like the traps weren't supposed to be cut out this way or whatever. And then you see like the bomb trap, the cells where they hid, more than one person could hide in them. And then like the electricity trap, if five people conducted the electricity, they would have survived. And then at the end, they all have to like give up 2 liters of blood, but because there was only 2 left, they both had to give up 5 liters of blood. But the problem is, I think once you lose one person before the electricity trap, could 4 people conduct the electricity to open the door? There's your problem right there. I don't even think that could have happened. So all 5 could have survived. I think that's a pretty good twist. I'd probably put that above Amanda, to be honest, but I think when you look at the traps and you look back, fuck, that is pretty obvious. Right, Hoffman knew Amanda was an accessory to Gideon's death and used this to blackmail her into killing Lynn in Saw 3. I think that's a bit meh, isn't it? You know, I think it's... if it's to do with Lynn, it's meh. Again, it's just him using a bit of phony blackmail, and John... I think John knew about this. Obviously, the guy that caused the miscarriage for John, that was Amanda's boyfriend, and she was like partly to blame, but not really to blame, and just a bit shite in my opinion, right? The wife and kid weren't William's family, they were the family of a guy whom he denied coverage. Well, yeah, and then obviously they decided to kill him, didn't they? So they decided to kill him, the son decided to kill him at least. I mean, a decent twist, but it's a little bit meh, put it bottom of good, I guess. Agent Perez survived, right, so when her and Stram are investigating in like the 4th one, she goes right up to the Billy puppet to try and hear, then it blows up in her face, and then we don't... I think this is just meh. I mean, I wouldn't say it's bad, but like we've seen people survive a hell of a lot worse in these movies, man, you know? Jigsaw's dying wish was for Jill to test Hoffman.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying an app that actually pays for gaming time, not just asks me to buy stuff?
Yeah, dead serious. It's called...
I'm going to put that bad. I didn't care for Jill. I didn't care. Like, Hoffman needed to test it again. John already tested him, you know, with the fucking double-barrel shotgun to his fucking jugular, man. He's like, he fucking raped her. Everyone deserves a chance. They're all screaming at each other. It's kind of funny, but again, didn't care for Jill. Hoffman, did he really need to test it? This was John's dying wish. It's not really much of a twist, is it? Dr. Gordon was Jigsaw's accomplice. Now, obviously, this is the big reveal at the end of the final movie, the 7th one, which they planned. I think this was actually... I think it's a really good twist. I don't think it's iconic, but I think it's close to the top. I would probably say it's right there. Because I think the problem with it is, I think to bring Gordon back, it was always going to lead to something like this. You know, it was always going to. There was a few hints throughout the movie franchise. Gordon, we never seen him again. There's no mention of a body, no mention of it. So, to me, it probably makes more sense that this Dr. Gordon guy teams up with Jigsaw and just goes about his normal day life again. Right. Moving on for the first 7 movies. And on to the 8th one. Logan was Jigsaw's accomplice. I don't like this. I just think this is ridiculous. I don't think it's straight up retarded. I'm going to put it bottom of bad. I think having Hoffman, I think having Gordon, I think having Amanda is more than enough. When they try to have this guy include it even before like the reverse bear trap. And all because the first trap that Jigsaw set up in this movie, Jigsaw, didn't really go according to plan because his back went up against it and then it started to kill him because he didn't wake up in time. Oh, and John's like, oh, I failed. No, I need to help you. And I brought him back to health. What about all the other people in the games? You know, like this guy never really got tested, if we're being honest then. You know, guy was in there for... Well, I think it was he missed something to do with a scan, wasn't it? So yeah, I just think this was fucking stupid. And then the straight up retarded one. The trap game took place 10 years ago. So to wrap this up in like 10, 20 seconds, whatever. The game that took place back in like 2004, which Logan was a part of, happened. But what Logan did was kidnap people, play the same game over a decade later with the same deaths, and put their bodies with jigsaw pieces across the city. And also you could get this O'Halloran guy and use the laser trap, and then he comes out with that line of "I speak for the dead" or whatever it was. That is awful, man. Right? So imagine setting up this game just to make it look like a game for 10 years ago. There was no fucking need. There was actually no fucking need. The only reason the game, right, got set up like this was so it could confuse the viewer into thinking, fuck, is John Kramer still alive? He could have just set up an entirely new, fresh game to make it look like that John was back. He didn't need to recreate a game that happened previously, but no, they just did this, and it's straight up retarded, man. Anyway, that is where we're going to leave that. And then moving on to Spyro, I don't really rate this movie. Shank was the Spyro killer. This was Chris Rock's partner. I think it's bad. And then the final one, the man Seek's partner killed 15 years ago was Shank's father. And then at the end, Samuel Jackson goes up the same way and he gets killed by the police brutality. Boring. Fucking bad. I think it's straight up retarded, but yeah. We'll leave it there, folks. I think that list is pretty bang on. It's a great franchise, but it's got... I mean, what this list tells you is that it was more good than bad, and I think that's no bad. So, till next time. Peace.